Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on financial mathematics. A special puzzle to warm up the brain cells is on the next slide. The answer will be given at the end. Enjoy. What is the meaning of the following? Good luck with it and see how you go. Goods and Services Tax. The above tax, GST for short, is a tax which is added to the initial cost of goods and services. In some countries, it is referred to as a VAT, value added tax. For example, let us assume a GST or VAT of 10%. This will help us to understand the concept and the calculations will be much easier. Example 1. A plumber quotes a pre-GST price of $1,800 for supply and installation of a hot water system. To this, he must add a GST of 10%. What is the GST and what is the total price after GST is added? So the answer, the GST of 10% is calculated using the initial price of $1,800. So 10% of $1,800 is $180. So that is the GST. Hence the total price is $1,800 plus $180, and that is $1,980. Example 2. The total price quoted by an electrician for a job is $3,300. This includes the GST. What is the pre-GST amount? Here's a pretty simple way of doing it. Let's have a look at it. Let C for cost, be the pre-GST cost. Hence, C, which is the pre-GST cost, plus 0.1 of C, which is 10% of the cost. That gives you the total of $3,300 because it says this includes the GST. So the initial cost plus 10% of the cost gives you the $3,300. So C plus 0.1 of C is 1.1 C, which is $3,300. Divide both sides by 1.1, so C is 3,300 divided by 1.1, so C is $3,000. So the pre-GST amount is $3,000. Example 3. A carpenter quotes a GST inclusive price of $4,950 for building a small deck. What is the GST component? So for this one, that's the total cost, but we want to find out what the GST was, because it's been added to that already. Answer. I would like to give you a very simple way of understanding what is involved here and how to solve this problem. Now, let's have a look. The pre-GST price plus the GST gives you the GST inclusive price. Now that makes sense. For any job, the cost of the initial job, you must add the GST. That gives you the total price, which includes the GST. So 100%, if we let the pre-GST price be 100%, we add 10% for the GST, that gives you 110%. And that 110% includes, that means it is the GST inclusive. So, in the GST inclusive price, we have 11 lots of 10%. See, because it's 110%. So there are 11 lots of 10% in the GST inclusive price. Hence, to calculate one lot of 10%, we just divide by 11. So, one lot of 10% is $4,950 divided by 11, and that gives you $450. So that is the GST. So don't get trapped and just divide, the cost by 10. If you divide that cost here by 10, you'll get the wrong answer. So I have set out this very simple way, which is in the yellow section here, the yellow box, you have to divide by 11 to give you the actual GST component. Comparing prices. If you went to a supermarket, you may sometimes see something like this. Red apples cost $2.40 for 500 grams. Green apples cost $1.50 for 300 grams. Which brand is cheaper? So I just repeated that here for ease of reference. So the red apples cost $2.40 for 500 grams. The green apples cost $1.50 for 300 grams. Which brand is cheaper? The answer. Reduce the cost to a common unit for each item. This makes comparisons easier. So for the red apples we had $2.40 for 500 grams. If you divide each amount by 5 to find out the cost for 100 grams. So $2.40 divided by 5 gives us 48 cents. 500 grams divided by 5 gives us 100 grams. So the red apples are 48 cents for 100 grams. For the green apples, divide each amount by 3 to find out the cost for 100 grams. $1.50 divided by 3 is 50 cents. 300 grams divided by 3 is 100 grams. So the green apples are 50 cents for 100 grams. So the red apples are cheaper. Of course, they're only 48 cents for 100 grams. The green apples are 50 cents. Hence, the red apples are cheaper. The answer to the puzzle. What is the meaning of the following? A home away from home. I reckon you might have got that.